So the national average for a gallon of regular gas jumping more than 30 cents since last week as the conflict in Iran pushes oil prices higher. Can the Trump administration guarantee that Americans won't see an energy crisis and sky-high gas prices? Let's bring in Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for joining the program. So I guess the big question is, there's a lot of talk about the Navy escorting these ships. How quickly will that be done?
Well, as quickly as we can. You know, right now, all the U.S. military assets, and God bless the men and women in the United States military, all of their focus right now is to suppress Iran's ability to wreak havoc on their neighbors and on Americans in the area. So first, we got to get their ability to cause trouble way down. And then as soon as it's reasonable to do it, we'll escort ships through the straits and get the energy moving again.
Why did we decide to allow India to buy that Russian gas?
Just pragmatic. Yeah, this is no change in policy against Russia, but there's a whole bunch of Russian-filled oil tankers around South Asia that are near the Indian refineries. India and all the Asian countries get a lot of oil out of the Straits of Hormuz. So that's where the problem is. We just want pragmatic answers to get oil in so those refineries can keep running.
Why can't we give Europe and Asia, because I saw the report of them they're being impacted by this. Why can't we just sell them American oil?
And we are, of course. It's just longer ship transit. You know, most of our oil goes to the Western Hemisphere and does go to Europe. But the Asian nations, just longer ship travel. So just to move quickly, let's take some floating barrels that are on the market and move them into refineries.
Before I get to why you're in New York.
These are all temporary. We're not going to, this is not a change in policy
to that
towards
point,
Russia.
When will there be some relief for folks at the pump? Do we expect this to last weeks, or do you think, you know, with the mitigation that the administration is putting in place right now, that we should see the gas prices start to come back down?
Yeah, I think it's of order weeks. I would say in the worst case, but it's weeks, not months. And look, Iran has been an escalator of energy prices 47 years, the whole history of their regime. We've got a little bit of an interruption right now to finally put an end to their ability to wreak havoc, to kill Americans, and to terrorize their neighbors.
So you're in New York to visit a nuclear power plant closed by Dem state leaders, a move that critics say has caused energy bills to rise. Is the Trump administration considering reopening these sites to get the cost of energy down?
Absolutely. Look, that is the Trump administration's, leading objective on this. The Biden administration in 4 years, they just drove the price of everything up. Electricity, natural gas, home heating, diesel, jet fuel. They drove them all up, and that was their policy. The policy of the Trump administration, unleash American energy, bring back common sense, and drive prices down.
Can you explain to our audience, because, some folks live in red states. I'm from Texas. I see gas at like $2.50 when I'm back home. And then you hear from some people that are in California, and they say the gas is skyrocketing. Can you explain the policies that are driving that? Even though the administration is drill, get the regulations down, it seems like some of these blue states aren't feeling the relief.
They aren't. But of course, the Trump administration, we want to help every state. But it is political choices that leaders make that make energy expensive. Like one of the reasons I'm here in New York, the New England states have crazy high electricity price for one reason. They blocked a natural gas pipeline that would go from Pennsylvania through New York State and lower everyone's electricity prices and allow job creation in New England. But the politics of, sort of a climate cult was we can't have any more hydrocarbons. They stand in the way of stuff and just make it more expensive.
Yeah, it's just like in California. They don't want to drill, but they want to buy it from other countries as well. So they're doing the same damage to the environment.
It's really crazy. And I think that's what's great about the Trump administration. He's not worried about upsetting this industry group or that industry group. He just thinks about American people. How can I lower prices? On electricity, Lawrence, there's 28 states that passed these renewable portfolio standards. They said it was going to be cheaper and cleaner and greener. It's none of the above. But those 28 states, on average, have 50% higher electricity rates than the other 22 states. Let's bring common sense to all 50 states.
It's all common sense. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.